Kumusta kayong muli, mga ka-creepy? Bago ko simulan ang istoryang ito, kung bago ka pa lang sa channel ko, ano pa ang inaantay mo? Subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell para lagi kang updated sa mga susunod pang video. Halina at ating simulan ang istorya.
Leyte, Philippines. One night after the devastating Typhoon Ami of December 8, 1951, flooded Tanawan town for weeks, a young Catholic priest named Cipriano B. Argel cloistered himself inside the walls of a church to pray for the dead. Inside the chapel that night 63 years ago, the young Argel was praying the Hail Mary in Latin under his breath when he heard a voice from somewhere answering with the Holy Mary also in Latin. But when he looked around, there was no one there but himself. Frightened by this otherworldly experience, the priest stopped praying. He hardly slept that night. The next day, Argel again prayed the responso. When he began praying the Hail Mary, this time several voices answered with the Holy Mary again. He looked around to find that he was the only one inside the chapel. Instead of allowing himself to be frightened again, Argel went on praying, even going on to say the Holy Rosary, with a chorus answering and joining him, their voices rising to a great crescendo. Argel went on with his nightly communion with the strange voices until they waned in frequency and then stopped altogether.
Ano po ang opinion nyo sa kwentong iyon? Please comment down below. At narito pa ang isa pang istorya.
We are common family who rented an apartment somewhere in Quezon City. And luckily, we bought a permanent residential place somewhere in Fairview, Quezon City. During my high school years, mostly a decade ago, when we were still renting out our apartment somewhere in Biluna, Quezon City, I really understand the meaning of to see is to believe. It occurred late at night around 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. That was the time when I woke up to take a pee and sometime drink a glass of water and return to my sleep. At that time, instead of going in the CR, I found the arinola that was used by my mother and sister. They adopted it on my grandmother's doing when sleeping in the evening and used it instead because I am still sleepy. While in the middle of peeing, I have noticed a strange gathering of light the corner of staircase, and I just thought that maybe it is just the light coming from our neighbor's kitchen. At that moment, I'm still taking a pee. I lead my head to look at window on the other room where my mother and sister are sleeping. Down also on that window was the kitchen of our neighbor. Then I suddenly shocked and it made me really awake when I saw that there were no lights coming from the kitchen of our neighbor, and quickly turned my head again on the light that I saw a while ago. Then all of the sudden, I quickly finished my peeing and focused straightly to light formation, and at that moment, the lights formed into a figure that shaped like a lady who is dressed in white and long hair. I have become so curious about it and even stared at it deeply. Then I realized that what I am seeing is the lady that was my sister tells me about when she was home alone. The figure suddenly stared up on me, and I feel the strange chills and goosebumps, and never realized that I almost dropped the arinola on my standing point. Instead of coming back at my room, I straight to the room of my mother and sisters and lay on the floor covering my eyes with a pillow. My mother noticed me and asked, "Why am I acting like that?"
Oh son, what happened? Why are you acting like that, huh?
And all I can say to her was,
There was a ghost. There was a ghost. I saw her, Mama.
Then she offered me a blanket and told me to just to relax and go to sleep. On the following morning, I told my sister about what happened. Then she told me that to see is to believe was true. After that, I have become alert on my occurrence related to what happened to me and at that time, and still believing on what my sister told me about. To see is to believe.
Opinion lang po, mga ka-creepy. Please comment down below. At naway na ibigan ninyo ang istoryang aking naibahagi sa inyo ngayon. Hanggang sa muli mga ka-creepy. At miga love shout out sa inyong lahat. At maraming salamat sa patuloy na pagsuporta sa aking channel. Diyos mabalos.